Brooklyn Beckham is David and Victoria Beckham's son. He has cut ties with them. Many people asked me to cover this story. I'm a little late to it. Let's just talk about estrangement, because as we talk about politics, as we talk about this administration, as we talk about should I talk to my mom and dad, we're seeing a very famous celebrity family have to, well, share with all of us, even though we didn't want to know for sure, right? Now we all know they're not talking to each other. They're estranged. And honestly, we could probably relate to some of it. So look at this video here, just so you can get an idea of what's happening.
Nicola posted this dreamy video on TikTok Tuesday.
Okay, that's Brooklyn and his wife.
Spending quality time,
Nicola,
with her husband of nearly 4 years. The couple all loved up with their dog, enjoying nature, wine, good food, and some sweet hugs and kisses.
Sweet hugs and kisses. Oh, I don't want this. I'm going to get copyrighted. Hold on. Muted for you guys. I'll unmute it when it's not copyrighted music. Okay, hold on. Over on Brooklyn's side.
Page, some snaps from their tranquil escape, including his bride in bed, a mid-dinner smooch, and this mouth-watering chicken and waffles dish.
He's the best husband in the entire world.
She's the best, and I'm so happy.
The pair seems completely unbothered when we know behind the scenes, a lot's going on.
David, you disappointed family business is being aired in public?
That's Brooklyn's dad, David Beckham, being asked about the drama last week, after Brooklyn went scorched earth, unleashing his wrath in a pages-long statement detailing his account of his parents' alleged mistreatment of him and Nicola. Brooklyn confirmed reports that his mom, Victoria, backed out of making Nicola's wedding dress, and alleges she stole the spotlight at their reception by hijacking the first dance with inappropriate moves. Brooklyn added, "The narrative that my wife controls me is completely backwards. I have been controlled by my parents for most of my life." David and Victoria have not responded to their eldest son's allegations, but a source told ET last week the Spice Girl has been deeply upset by the issues.
It definitely takes a toll on you mentally.
How do you guys manage tuning out the noise and just kind of staying true to who you are? Does it bother you ever?
It's not the best thing to see people writing, not the nicest of things, but, you know, we have each other, we have each other's back more than anything. So I think we've just both learned to don't listen to that.
Okay, now let me show you. He also has like a cooking video thing he does where people make fun of him for being like a cook, but whatever.
Judge me, of course you do, because everyone's always like, oh, Brooklyn thinks he's a professional chef. I'm not a professional chef at all. I just love cooking.
Okay, he's like, people make fun of me. They say, oh, you think you're a professional chef? He's like, I don't think that. Here's this video.
The kids, they love Italian food, so I feel that I perfected the ragu and the fresh pasta. It would be like a bolognese.
He does do a good bolognese. I personally think mine's better. You know, he's been cooking it for me most of my life. And I've, you know, taken his recipe and I've changed it a little.
Okay, chat saying he's also got a hot sauce line. Okay, noted. But this is my favorite. If you watch the docu-series of Victoria Beckham and of David Beckham, I've watched both for the record. This is a clip from, I think this is David Beckham's series. This is a clip everybody might know.
We're very working class.
Be honest.
She's talking about her own family, saying they're very working class.
We're very working class.
Be honest.
I am being honest. I am being honest.
What car did your dad drive you to school in?
So my dad did.
No, one answer.
My dad.
What car was it?
All right, it's not a simple answer
what
because.
What did you get your dad to drive?
It depends.
No.
Okay,
What
in the
car?
80s, my dad had a Rolls Royce.
Thank you.
Okay, it's like funny. Keep in mind, these people are worth a lot of fucking money. Okay. And then, of course, they've been paparazzi'd and people are following them everywhere, asking them about the situation, right?
Family power!
I couldn't even imagine this being my job. Like, imagine you're the paparazzi.
Family power!
Ah ouais, mais c'est lui, là.
Family power in Paris. Wow. Where is Brooklyn? Brooklyn is not with you.
Okay, like imagine that is your life. It's like, girl, no, thank you. Thank you. Now, David Beckham did appear on a show where he talked about like social media and giving kids a chance to make mistakes.
Well, whilst Sir David Beckham didn't comment to Paul there or directly about the controversy during an interview with CNBC about his global sports programme partnership, he did say that sometimes parents have to let their children make mistakes on social media.
I've always spoke about, social media and the power of social media, for the good and for the bad. The bad we talked about with what kids can access these days, and it can be dangerous. But what I've found personally, especially with my kids as well, use it for the right reasons. I've been able to use my platform and my following, for UNICEF, and it's been the biggest tool to make people aware of what's going on around the world for children. And I've tried to do the same. I've tried to do the same with my children to educate them. They make mistakes. Children are allowed to make mistakes. That's how they learn. So that's what I try to teach my kids. But, you have to sometimes let them make those mistakes as well.
Okay. So then Brooklyn posted this on Instagram. This is from Reddit, okay? Because it's just easier for me to read. It says, this is from Brooklyn directly. I've been silent for years and made every effort to keep these matters private. Unfortunately, my parents and their team have continued to go to the press, leaving me with no choice but to speak for myself and tell the truth about only some of the lies that have been printed. I do not want to reconcile with my family. I'm not being controlled. I'm standing up for myself for the first time in my life. For my entire life, my parents have controlled narratives in the press about our family. The performative social media posts, family events, and inauthentic relationships have been a fixture of the life I was born into. Recently, I have seen with my own eyes the lengths they will go through to place countless lies in the media, mostly at the expense of innocent people, to preserve their own facade. But I believe the truth always comes out. Now, just to give a little bit of my 2 cents here, I do think being a celebrity might be the worst thing in the whole world. I just couldn't even imagine, and I think it's a red flag when people want to be one. I do like watching celebrity stories, and I did enjoy watching the docuseries for both David Beckham and Victoria Beckham. And I do like a reminder of how much they had to do to stay and be famous, because I know people think it's easy, but it's actually really easy to get famous. It's really hard to stay famous and make money off of it. So when I watch these videos, when I watch the documentaries, I just get reminded of like how much this isn't who I'm supposed to be in the story. Because when you grow up in the world, especially in Southern California, there's this idea that like you could be famous, you could be a celebrity. But the truth is like I'm not willing to do what they do to do it, but I can see what happened, like how hard it is. I can see like how hard it is. David Beckham often talks about how his father basically abused him in order to make him the pro player he was, right? And also he loved football, soccer. He loved football, but his father was like borderline abusive, like, in order to kind of get him to that point. So it's kind of like this double-edged sword of, am I willing to do what it takes to be famous and rich and a good ball player? But also, why does it always have to come at the expense of our kids or our health or our relationships? Like a celebrity family whose kids are out there in the media, yeah, those kids are never going to be like regular kids. But also regular kids too, sharing about their family, sharing about their drama. I mean, I share stuff here. My parents aren't celebrities. Sometimes when I talk about my family, I'm always like, am I oversharing? But then a part of me feels like I want to give a real life example of how life can be, because I want people to feel like they can breathe, because life is so hard already. So part of me can understand why people really felt like this was powerful, to see that even when you're rich and famous, you still have family problems. And that's what a good reminder of this is. Like, I don't resent rich people. I'm not jealous or bitter or angry. I'm just like, okay, bro, you took that path. I took this one. I really think like anyone can be rich and famous. I just think other people have a leg up, like Nepo babies. But I believe this in a philosophical sense, not in like a conservative way. Like not, conservatives are like, if you want to make it in America, you can. If you want to get famous, you can. Because all you got to do is being annoying enough, go viral enough, make it happen. If you want to turn it into a long-term business, that's a different game. And that is networking. That is who you know. That is like privilege. That is that's different. But I think it's possible. I just don't even know if you want it. I wish people, instead of dreaming about, oh, I wish I could be famous, ask yourself, do you really want to be? I wish I was rich. Do you really want to be? I wish my dad gave me a $30K allowance a month. Are you sure about that? Because then you'd have to take daddy's money, which is not exactly the cleanest money. You know, I heard Vivian allegedly, and I wouldn't blame her either way, but allegedly Vivian, you know, Elon's daughter, allegedly isn't getting paid by daddy. She was like, my dad does not give me money. I am dead to him. He does not give me $1. And I make all my own money. And yes, of course, she's a Nepo baby. Yes, of course, she has privilege. Yes, of course, all those things. But she's not, you know, she's trying to make her own path. Yes, I understand. She's still Elon's daughter. Okay. But there's something about this. You know, I've enjoyed the way Vivian has decided to, what path she's decided to go. Right. And yeah, there's a lot of layers to this is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Now, next part of Brooklyn's statement. Brooklyn says, my parents have been trying endlessly to ruin my relationship since before my wedding, and it hasn't stopped. My mom canceled making Nicola's dress in the 11th hour, despite how excited she was to wear her design, forcing her to urgently find a new dress. Weeks before our big day, my parents repeatedly pressured and attempted to bribe me into signing away the rights to my name, which would have affected me, my wife, and our future children. They were adamant on me signing before my wedding date because then the terms of the deal would be initiated. My holdout affected the payday, and they have never treated me the same. My holdout affected the payday. Okay. And they have never treated me the same. During the wedding planning, my mom went so far as to call me evil because Nicola and I chose to include my nanny Sandra and Nicola's Nani, I assume a grandma, at our table because they both didn't have their what's a Nani? Is that a grandma? Because they didn't have their husbands. Both of our parents had their own tables equally adjacent to ours. Okay. The night before the wedding, members of my family told me that Nicola was not blood and not family. Since the moment I started standing up for myself with my family, I've received endless attacks from my parents, both privately and publicly, that were sent to the press on their orders. Now, there's two things happening here, right? Discourse said her mom is pretty famous too, right? Oh, does Nicola come from a famous family? I don't know anything about her, to be honest. But there's two things happening here. Either one, the family literally doesn't like her and they just like don't approve because they have bad reasons. She's not good for the brand. They just don't like her for the image, or good reasons. They actually know something insidious about Nicola, think she's a gold digger and something bad is happening, right? We don't know. But, she's a billionaire heiress. Fucking capitalists, bro. Okay, so fine. Her father is Palm Beach royalty. Then why? Interesting. Well, you never know. Maybe the Beckhams are afraid of how powerful her family is. Dun, 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 dun. Or maybe at the end of the day, they're not allowing him to make this decision because they don't think it's his partner, or it's not their business. He's an adult, right? Like, I don't know why you're making this such a big deal. Listen, when people in my family, married people, I'm like, this isn't your forever person. And I think you know that, but I will back you. I'll be at your wedding, but I hope you know this will end in divorce. And it did. But we still love our family because, like, yes, we're going to marry the wrong people sometimes, and I'm going to be with you through it. But girl, do not do this. And then they do it, and then you love them through it. And rich people are not exempt from this. If they really feel like he is marrying the wrong person, okay, voice your opinion, but also, like, understand that, like, at the end of the day, he's an adult. He's going to make his own decisions, right? Her dad is a major Trump supporter. Ew. Are the Beckhams liberal? Aren't they liberal? They probably don't like her family if they're Trump. You know, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. We don't know is the point. I'm just saying Brooklyn's like an adult. He can make his own decisions. Let's keep reading. Let me see. The night before our wedding, members of my family told Nicola, because she's not family, since the moment I started standing up for myself with my family, I've received endless attacks from both my parents, both privately and publicly, that were sent to the press on their orders. Even my brothers were sent to attack me on social media before they ultimately blocked me out of nowhere last summer. Oh God, this last summer. My mom hijacked my first dance with my wife, which had been planned weeks in advance to our romantic love song, in front of 500 wedding guests. Ew. Mark Anthony called me to the stage. Okay, first of all, humble brag. Okay, where the schedule was planned to be my romantic dance with my wife, but instead my mom was waiting to dance with me instead. She danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone. Honestly, if he's willing to say this about his mom, he is either the most evil, lying, whatever kind of or that's crazy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just kind of believe him, but also, like, I don't know, I wasn't there. But also, that's kind of crazy to say about your mom, dude, which means it's probably true. Or he's like an insane liar. There's always a question. Yes, there could be one child who's the scapegoat for the family, or there's the one child that is actually the dangerous, narcissistic, like violent child of the family. So which one is he? Is he the kid in the family that's going to kill his parents in the middle of the night? Or is he the kid in the family that the parents are using as the excuse for all of the bad things that happens? We don't know. Okay. She danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone. I've never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in my life. We wanted to renew our vows so we could create new memories of our wedding day that brings us joy and happiness, not anxiety and embarrassment. Yeah, we're gonna have to see that video. You know, we're gonna have to see that video. But I'm more siding on his side in general. Kat says, "Who's Mark Anthony?" Girl, he's a singer. I'm not sure if. You know, we want to side. Well, I mostly side on him initially because I do think adult children have good reasons for moving away from their parents, though I always can take into account the possibility that maybe he's lying, but we'll see, I guess. He said, "My wife has been consistently disrespected by my family. No matter how hard we've tried to come together as one, my mom has repeatedly invited women from my past into our lives in ways that are clearly not intended that were clearly intended to make us both uncomfortable." See, that's crazy. What? Despite this, we still traveled to London for my dad's birthday and were rejected for a week as we waited in our hotel room trying to plan quality time with him. He refused all our attempts and said it was at his big birthday party with hundreds of guests and cameras at every corner when he finally agreed to see me. It was under the condition that Nicola wasn't invited. No, okay, guys. If this is true, there will be receipts and I need to see them. I want to see the family threads. I'm serious. Show it to me. This is a very unique experience. And I can't say either way because I'm not there, but it could be either way. It could be. But this is like, ooh, this is interesting. Like this is, I need the receipts. Make this a YouTube video. Somebody give me the text messages. Okay? Because all this will be documented somewhere, right? And I'm not saying I don't believe him. When I say show me the evidence, I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm saying that's very probable. He could absolutely be telling the truth. We do not know, right? Okay. He refused all of our attempts. Okay. When he finally agreed to see me, it was under the condition that Nicola wasn't invited. It was a slap in the face. Later, when my family traveled to LA, they refused to see me at all. Yeah. Wow. Okay. He says, my family values public promotion and endorsements above all else. My family values public promotion and endorsement above all else. Brand Beckham comes first. Family love is decided by how much you post on social media and how quickly you drop everything to show up and pose for the family photo op, even if it's at the expense of our professional obligations. Damn, bro. We've gone out of our way for years to show up and support at every fashion show, every party, and every press actively to show our perfect family. Now, I'm more likely to believe him in the same way that I do believe Meghan Markle and that whole shenanigans over the royal family. Like, I know for a fact being in that royal family must be hell on fucking earth. Okay, you just know it. And we know the Beckhams are connected to the royal family. So then I believe him in that regard because of the Beckhams, because he's knighted, I believe. I think he's Sir David Beckham. They are connected to the royal family. And we know the royal family sucks. It's hell on earth in that bubble. So, it's all of this. So I wouldn't be that surprised if the Beckhams also followed suit. Okay. Let's see. We've gone out of our way for years to show up and show support at every family, at every fashion show, every party, every press activity to show our perfect family in quotation marks. But the one time my wife asked for my mom's support to save displaced dogs during the LA fires, my mom refused. Uh-oh. The narrative that my wife controls me is completely backwards. I've been controlled by my parents for most of my life. I grew up with an overwhelming anxiety. For the first time in my life since stepping away from my family, that anxiety has disappeared. I wake up every morning grateful for the life I chose, and I've found peace and relief. My wife and I do not want a life shaped by image, press, or manipulation. All we want peace, privacy, and happiness for us and our future family. Okay, wow. Okay. Well, I mean, there's a pretty good chance he's telling the truth. There is a pretty high probability he's telling the truth. You know what I mean? Just as people don't believe Meghan Markle because she's annoying to them, as if that's the case, I worry for when someone finds them annoying. Well, you know what's crazy about Meghan Markle? Obviously, the racism of it all is a layer here. But if you have to first, okay, here's a problem. First, and this is why I tell you, this is my biggest recommendation for all of us, especially raised under capitalism. Being rich and famous is a trap. I know it doesn't feel like a trap because you can't pay your phone bill right now. It is a trap. It is a trap that looks good because it's bedazzled. But it does not come without strings attached. It does not come without showing up in ways you don't want to show up. How many cases after case after case has to come out for you to realize this is a trap? It's a trap from the internet strangers that hate your guts for simply existing. It's a trap from the amount of stalkers you're going to have to deal with, from the pressures of the family that expects you to show up and look a particular way. You do not become more free at a certain level of wealth. You become more trapped. Okay? Like, I know people keep wanting it to be that, oh, if you get rich, you'll be free. A certain amount of money is a level of independence and freedom. Too much money is a golden cage. And this kid grew up definitely in a golden cage, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. So I'm not surprised this is where he's at right now. And then let's just confirm really fast. Brooklyn Beckham, age, how old is he? He's 26. Oh, he's a baby. He's a baby. He's a bit of a baby. Oh God, he's a little wee mister. He's a bit of a baby, isn't he? Oh, he's a bit of a baby. Okay, hold on. 26 is hard because I do think 26 is so young. It's so young. You have no idea how young 26 is. Okay, so then I'm even more worried for him because either this is the love of his life or this is just another divorce in the future. But either way, anyway, this boy needs this man in training, needs to feel like a grown-up. He has to do it. Oh, he's 26 and she's 31? I don't really love that age gap. I don't really love it. I don't really love it. I don't. Okay. Don't really love that. See. Nicola. Yeah. Okay. I don't really love the age gap, but I understand it's not the worst age gap, but it's not my like favorite age gap. This is BBC. Writer, director, actor, dog activist. She's 31-year-old wife of Brooklyn Beckham, has found herself in the center of a media maelstrom. Let's see. Girl playing ice hockey. My dad really wanted me to focus on playing hockey. Ew. Is that them with Elon? Ew. So her father pelts brother Will and Elon and her. Honestly, if I was the Beckhams, I'd be concerned. I'm a bit concerned now. Wait, now I'm concerned. Uh-oh. So, okay, now we have a weird age gap, which, okay, look, I'm open to the age gap, but I also think it's like 31 and 26, like, that's a pretty big age gap. And then on top of it, she comes from a Republican family. You know what I mean? Who knows? We're not there. We're not a part of these people's families and, stuff like that. But I don't know. 26 is so young. This is the dilemma, though, because if Brooklyn is doing this, it means that he probably didn't feel safe with his family. So there's another layer to it. So let's say it's both and. Maybe Brooklyn's family, the Beckhams, were very strict about who he hung out with, maybe for good or bad reasons. Maybe they helicopter parented him. And then he felt like, I need to rebel. And then this perfect kind of package came around at the right time to kind of, be with him. And maybe she's organic. Maybe she's not. We don't know if she's authentic, right? But maybe it was both, Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not the worst age gap. It's not the best age gap. That's how I'm going to say it. Like 31. Yeah. It's pushing it. Like 27, 28 would have been better. 29 would have been better. 26, like, yeah, that's pretty fucking young. Yeah, I'm really sympathetic to people in their mid 20s. I just feel like, late 20s, okay, I'm a little bit more relaxed. Mid 20s, okay, so it may be a little bit of both happened. Maybe, yeah. Also, is that her brother? Because I thought that was Brooklyn Beckham for a second. I mean, maybe all white boys just look alike. I don't know. But, they got the same kind of thing going on. So, yeah. Now I'm hesitating. Well, either way, they're adults and they're going to have to make their decisions. And let's just hope that everyone here has good intentions and that no one is being taken advantage of. I mean, they look good together. They're both attractive in their own way. I don't know. Yeah, we really don't know what's going on with these people. Well, for those of you who wanted my opinion, I will say this. When an adult child feels betrayed by a parent, they have the right to not talk to that parent. Parents have the right to not talk to their adult children. I deeply believe this. Once we're all adults, we make our own decisions. We are not obligated to stay connected to our families, blood related or not. You are not obligated to stay people's friends. I think in healthy situations, friendships maintain, relationships maintain for as long as it's both healthy for everybody. And then when it's not, you move apart or you go in different directions. But I will just say that I think that ultimately Brooklyn has the right to do what he's doing to separate himself from his family. And if this, it's hard because none of us are in celebrity positions. But I hope it brings him the peace that I think he's seeking, We'll see, though. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what happens. I don't know. Do we have any strong thoughts about this? Chad said, I'm sorry, but that's not an age gap. I mean, an age gap is an age gap, girls. Like, an age gap can be 6 months. Like, in my opinion, when people are like, oh, there's an age gap, they're saying anything from we're not literally the same age to we're 10 years apart. Age gap is just a word people use to convey an age difference, right? But that is an age gap. I don't know what you would constitute as an age gap. Let's see what Google says is an age gap. An age gap is the difference between the difference in years between two individuals in a relationship. Often defined as significant when it exceeds 8 or 10. But like an age gap can be 4 years, age gap can be 2 years. Like, oh, are you guys the same age? Oh, we're both 36. Okay, not an age gap. Or you can say, oh, but I'm older, but he's younger. Or we can say, oh, we have an age gap. It's 2 years. Okay. Like, to me, age gap just means, is there a gap between your ages? And then you can ask if it's significant. Like, oh, is there a significant age gap? Oh, it's 20 years. So again, it just depends. And also, yeah, chat says if 5 years is a big age gap, especially in your 20s. I think that's what it is. Like, if you're 21 and you're dating somebody who's 31, that's like a huge age gap. If you're 40 and dating someone who's 50, I'm less concerned, obviously, right? I'm not even concerned. Okay. So yeah, it can be a big difference here. Okay. Mid to early 20s compared to your late 20s, you're heading into your 30s, especially if you're somebody who you're 28, 29, you're heading into your 30s. It's a different mindset than somebody who's 23, 24, and you're heading into your mid 20s. I always think about where you're heading into, right? Like, where are you heading into? And that's how I kind of figure out if there's much of a gap, To me, an age gap implies we are at different stages in life. Well, one of my friends, they're in an age gap relationship. There's like, I think 10 years or 9 years between them. And the partner goes, well, you're 30 now, so there's no such thing as an age gap. I was like, no, the age gap is still there, even if this person is 30 or 35. Like, there's still an age gap, Like, to me, age gaps are, depending on the circumstance of the conversation, like, they don't also imply something negative all the time. Like, the word age gap doesn't mean negative. It's just we usually are concerned about it because we're talking about it in a negative fashion. Like, oh, there's an age gap. Yeah, but like, what's the age gap? Like, what's the age gap? I don't think the word age gap means something bad. It's just like we want to be extra concerned in a world that justifies child marriage, in a world that has child marriages. Like, we just want to make sure that no one's being taken advantage of unnecessarily, you know? That's what we're concerned about, right? Let me see. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge age gap relationship. I'm 33 and the man I'm fucking is 45. Let me tell you, I can fucking feel it. Jordan Teresa has an interesting take on maybe we should consider having empathy towards Nepo babies as we have for child stars and family vloggers. Sure. I don't think, first of all, to the first comment, I definitely always could tell the age difference between people I was fucking, especially if I outgrew them. Oh God, that was the worst. And two, in terms of Nepo babies, I do think that all human beings deserve empathy and sympathy, even tyrants. But that's my radical journey. I don't care if you're a Nepo baby. I only care in the context that it matters. So, like, sometimes it matters. It depends on what we're talking about. But, like, you didn't choose to be born. It is what it is. And also, may all children be Nepo babies. May all children be born into, like, fucking, you know. Imagine thinking you're a better parent by raising your kids on hard mode when you're $500,000 in debt and it's commercial. Or it's consumer, I mean. Like, imagine literally sitting here and being $60,000 in consumer debt on your fucking Starbucks credit card and then being like, I'm a better parent than raising my kids in a wealthy family. Not that you're both not going to have time for your kids, but at least one of your kids gets to go to school and get college paid for. We act like poor families have any more time to spend with their kids than rich families do. You know, at least one family, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why people who have babies think they're better than other people when you're bringing that baby into the world on hard mode. But okay, this is not a shot at poor people as a whole group. This is a shot at people who think they're better than rich people when they have babies, when they don't have any money. That's the shot, okay?